education, help with your voter registration and driver's license and credit cards and license plates for your car. Lots of jobs for you to do and employers who'll turn a blind eye to. Come to the USA. No need to worry about the Constitution. We'll help you start a house of prostitution if that's the kind of work that you want to do. You see, those gringo infidels are crazy. They'll give citizenship to your new baby. So you see, there's really only one choice for you. Come to the USA. There's no penalty to pay should you get caught illegally immigrating. I said, come to the USA. I said, we'll be your lucky day, 'cause when you get in, there's lots of goodies waiting. Yeah, you get public housing and cable TV and food stamps and even government cheese. The borders are a swinging door. Go home for a visit and come back for more. There's sanctuary and amnesty. Bring the whole family eventually. Yeah, come to the USA.
This has been a public service message sponsored by Oatnut, dedicated to the collapse of the American way of life. Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to worry if you get caught illegally immigrating. You know, there's a public service announcement by the Honduran government. I'm just saying, either that or it may have been Ray Stevens. I don't know. I'm not absolutely sure where that came from, but just saying. I love that guy. I posted that today on Facebook, and one of my cousins said, "Is he still alive?" Couldn't believe he's still alive. I don't even know how far back his first song went. The one I remember from the 70s was The Streak. Back when streaking was popular in the 70s. Ahab the Arab, I think, was one of them, which, that's politically incorrect. Then again, all of his stuff was. But not only is he still alive, he's still cranking them out. I saw one several years ago. He did one for Obamacare. I'll have to look that one up. You gotta laugh. If you don't laugh about this stuff, you'll go insane. I thought I'd share that with you. Good old Ray Stevens. We'll have to play that again sometime. And a catchy tune, too. Gotta love him. Anyhow, moving on. I want to take a look. There was a couple of stories here. I don't know if they're still up on the Drudge. Some of the headlines above the main headline. Update: plans for $50 million resort for illegals canceled. That was a hotel. The government was going to put them up in a hotel with a $50 million contract. They were just going to rent the whole hotel, with pools and fitness centers and tennis courts and all that. Once the public got wind of it, though, it was canceled. Honduras seeks aid on migrants. That's nice. Suggest a mini Marshall Plan. Oh, great. I've heard about enough of this Honduras president and his ilk. A big surprise here. Dems push amnesty. This is America. Doors are open. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, these people are literally... It's not even, when this all started in 2008, you were conspiracy theorists, you were crazies, you were fringe, you were, it's all out of the cat's out of the bag. It's all out in the open. These people are trying to destroy our country. MS-13 gang member arrested with car full of illegal recruits. Alien caught carrying gun with serial number filed off. Well, yeah. If he's coming, if he's got to cross all the way through Mexico, he's bound to, probably a lot of them were carrying guns and probably threw them out the window right before they got to the border would be my guess. Former border chief. All of good done after 9/11 reversed single-handedly. We might come back to that one. And the main headline on the Drudge is released illegal alien arrested for murder. Last week, there was one arrested, for molesting a 9-year-old girl. He'd been caught 4 or 5 times. I think Obama... I think Obama's getting the illegal aliens mixed up with the terrorists. I don't know. He just likes releasing criminals. Period. Maybe that's it. Backtrack. Maryland governor asks White House not to send illegals to his state. Connecticut rejects children. L.A. plan to provide housing. Outrages homeless. Hundreds of cities fight back against invasion. Illegals hide in natural gas pipeline. Meanwhile, Obama plans 16-day Martha's Vineyard vacation on $12 million estate. That's cool. Oh, yeah. Everything's going according to plan. I'll go back to this story. Former Border Patrol chief. Former Border Patrol chief, all good done after 9/11 has now been reversed single-handedly. I haven't read this story yet, ladies and gentlemen, but, we'll see. National Review Online. Former Border Patrol deputy chief, all of the good that was done after 9/11 up to now has been reversed single-handedly. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they're finding Korans and prayer rugs, and have been for several years, but they're finding more and more of them now with this new influx. And I'll give credit where credit's due. This goes all the way back, all the way back to 9/11. Well, that was George Bush's watch. You can say what you want of what a great guy George Bush was, and I do think he was a pretty good man. Don't get me wrong. I'd much rather have George Bush in the White House than Barry Soetoro. But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that George Bush refused. George Bush was an amnesty guy. Well, you can't be mad at Obama for amnesty and not condemn George W. Bush for it as well. Former national deputy, shout out to National Review Online. Former national deputy chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, Ronald Colburn, tells National Review Online that the Obama administration has undone all of the progress made at America's southern border since 9/11. We're back to a pre-9/11 situation, basically, and this administration did that in the past 5 years, he says. All of the good that was done up to now has been reversed single-handedly. Colburn, who'd spent 30 years working for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, says the resulting national security risk has to do with the culture of the people at the border. He said all of the gains made since 9/11 came as a result of reducing the number of people crossing the border. Border Patrol task is to sort through the haystack of people as they come across. What this situation on the border is doing is growing the haystack, adding clutter, so that those dangerous needles get through because we're tied up capturing instead juvenile children from Guatemala and El Salvador. He says when you see the cartels, the Zetas and the MS-13s and the Gulf Cartel laughing about this on the internet, you know what's behind it. Colburn says the gangsters down south enjoy social media, taking selfies and talking about one another online. Border Patrol officials monitor the cartel's online communications along with officials from the Department of Defense and the intelligence community. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. "13 years after 9/11, and we're back to pre-9/11 circumstances on our border. It'll be interesting to see when a dirty bomb or a suitcase nuke goes off in an American city set there by a terrorist who came across the southern border. It'll be interesting to see how they blame that on Republicans. But they will. Make no mistake. They'll try. And a Border Patrol official. Ex-deputy chief. Says, yeah, no. This administration screwed it up single-handedly. So we'll see how all that works out for us. Let's see here. Moving on. We're in deep trouble, ladies and gentlemen. I'm becoming convinced, and if I'm right, you'll see this more and more over the next 3 years. Even now, some of the president's, own party is beginning to turn on him. Very few. And none of them out of honor or duty. They're beginning to turn on him because, the nightmare that is this president, they're beginning to realize what they're gonna be facing in the next election. The few that are turning on him are doing it for political reasons, not out of honor and duty. I can promise you that. But I'm beginning to believe that at this point the president just doesn't give a damn. He's going to, he's not facing another election. He's got the criminal Eric Holder covering his back over at the DOJ. Nobody can touch him or his people. Can't touch Lois Lerner. Can't touch none of the criminals in this administration. Not as long as Eric Holder is the Attorney General. And he's busy investigating Independence Day floats. So... And I think at this point the president just wants to do as much damage to this country as he can in the next 3 years. And if I'm right, he's only just begun. If I'm right, he's only just begun.